There's hope for my city. We are the chosen ones. We are the light, reflecting His only Son.
All right, welcome to Hope for My City podcast. We are so glad that you tuned in with us today. It's me, Pastor G, and my co-host, Chief Williams. Chief David Williams is with us. And then, of course, we have our guest today, Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey, would you just say hi to everybody who's watching, man?
Everybody? Hey.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta give Matt some claps there, man. That's
There
a
you
big
go.
deal. And a couple of...
There you go.
Matt Harvey's a legend, man. Matt Harvey's a legend, man, here in our city of Waco, Texas. He's a barber, and, he's here today because he's a barber and he's a legend. And when I think about who could we bring on here from the community as we focus on bringing hope to the city, man, I don't look no further than Matt Harvey, man. It's a blessing to have you here today with us.
Appreciate
it. As we get this kicked off, Matt, we go way back, man. And in fact, you go way back in our city. Were you born and raised in Waco? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, me too. And so as far as I can remember, man, from getting haircuts, I mean, you were there,
Since 96.
Yes, bro, since 96. Oh, my goodness. Man, I tell you what, I remember before, I was just talking to one of my cousins on the way up here, and I was asking him, I said, man, am I tripping? But I remember when we used to get haircuts, and back then it was just the old school barbers. I remember the Southgate barbers, we used to shout out to them. I don't know if they're still around, but
So.
they were out there cutting hair, and then in the north side, right there at Drug Emporium. I'm not saying they were the only ones, but the ones that I remember.
Yeah.
And they would have it all set up there, and I remember that. But outside of that, I mean, we didn't have too much from what we remember. I'm not saying it didn't exist, but from what we remember, we couldn't remember anything being around. But when Matt hit the scene, hey man, it's been a pretty cool legacy ever since then. Before we jump into that, what for barbers, there's a what's that little thing that turns, bro? It's like red and blue.
Pole.
The barber pole. I did a little research. Man, they used to help. They used to do like surgeries or something. Man,
All kind of stuff.
I was like, what in the world?
Teeth pulling.
What?
The small little, procedures, surgeries or whatever.
Yeah.
Barbers go
Way back. Man, this thing goes all the way back to Egypt. I was looking at that. I was like, what in the world? Yeah. But then, just looking at the 1800s and looking at all that and what you're talking about, that they did more than just cut hair. And not that that's not a big deal. That's a big deal.
One of the oldest professions beside,
Yeah. It's one of the oldest professions. What? It's up there, man. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if anybody, you guys out there watching know. I didn't know none of this stuff. Yeah. But I thought it was cool. So then that becomes an icon or a symbol because of the bandage, the white part, and then the red, the blood, obviously.
Yeah.
And
I forgot what the blue was. Now, you're helping me out.
Yeah.
It's coming back to me a little bit.
Okay, for those of you who are experts, that's where you engage with us. Yeah. So hit on here and let's all learn together.
There you go.
All right? Because, I always like to say this. None of us up here are ever trying to act like we're experts in anything.
True.
But we have some experiences, and those experiences don't cover everything. But all of us together, now those experiences bring hope to our city, man, because then we get to get some understanding and some education going on. Man, but so barbers, man, you guys are iconic. As we talked about for cities and communities, and when you talk about barber talk, what happens when you go and get your hair cut, man, you be learning all kinds of stuff. Talking about getting educated,
just a little bit.
And then those are like podcasts in and of themselves, man, because there's all kind of sports is going on. There's all kind of conversations, entertainment. Oh man, what's happening in the culture, all while getting a haircut,
right?
Or sitting there waiting to get a haircut.
Yeah. And something too, a lot of these young cats who don't have that father figure in their life, that looking forward to going to the barbershop, because the barbershop taught a lot of these boys how to be men.
True.
And that's something we don't think about. Yeah. But man, the barbershop was it. I can't wait. I don't even want a haircut. I just want to go sit at the barbershop.
Yeah.
Just for the education.
Yeah.
That's right, bro. No, that's right. I mean, I seen it back then, but even today, I mean, Matt, how did you even become a barber, bro? What happened with all that?
Well, I picked up the clippers when I was 11 years old. So, you know what I mean? My grandfather used to cut hair. He was a big-time guy in the small city, McGregor, Crawford, you know what I mean? But I never got a chance to meet him. But from all my elders, they used to tell me I was so just like him, you know what I mean? The way I carry myself, just interact with everything. But, you know, at an early age, I didn't understand all that, you know? But I was telling this story yesterday, man. I taught a class down in Belton yesterday, and asking how I got started and whatnot. And he was like, so, man, what got you started? I said, well, you know, parents was like, hey, man, we ain't gonna keep on seeing you to the shop, and you know, so what you gonna do? We was looking underneath the cabinet one day and seen some clippers. Me and my brother. I said, we got action. We got action. But it wasn't nothing but some oysters. Wasn't no fading, no nothing. It was
That's
straight
old school.
Straight old school. Straight chili bowls.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
man,
Some chili bowls, bro.
what? Man, say that's what we was doing. That's what we was doing. So, but next thing you know, what I was starting to gravitate to a little bit more. You know, I was getting them chili bowls right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Starting to fade it just a little bit. You know what I mean? With that 1/8 guard, it wasn't no hard fade, but it was a nice little blend. And next thing you know, I was like, okay, I like this. So, you know what I mean? 12 years old, 13 years old, cut my brother hair. And next thing you know, cut my dad hair. And then next thing you know, cutting some local friends and family members. And then, about high school, I was cutting the football team and neighborhood kids and all that. So I was just like, okay. But I never knew, you know what I mean, how could I get to that next level of this is profession, you know what I mean? And a friend of mine stayed around the corner from us named Rodney Taylor. Shout out to Rodney, RT.
Yeah.
He put me up on everything, you know what I mean? Told me to go to OGs, how to do everything. And next thing you know,
What year would you say that was?
That was 95. You know what I mean? When I graduated from high school, took the summer off, went straight to barber school, you know, hopped right on into it. Hooked up with some guys, and hey, man, 9 months later, I got my license, and I was ready to roll.
Man, how hard was that to go to school and, you know, tell us about that.
Now, that was different back in the day, you know. It was only one barber school around here in Central Texas, you know what I mean?
Okay.
It was a couple of them, like Bryan, and it was another one outside. But, you know, the one that really everybody talked about was OGs. Down in Killeen.
Okay.
So, you know, got in my financial aid together and all that. And next thing you know, pull up.
Man, and so you went for 9 months, you said?
9 months, 1,500 hours. Took me a little bit longer because I was, you know, I was young, so I was playing around a little bit. So.
Yeah. So being young, you know, because I know there's young folks that are having aspirations to do this, and maybe they're not getting it right at first. Can you talk to that, like what you've seen, you know, or experienced your own self that maybe some folks may get discouraged just starting off?
Yeah. You know, just starting off, man, you trying to cut every head as possible. You know, you late nights, early mornings, you know what I mean? But you still don't know how to separate the party life from the professional side. So, you know what I mean? Just trying to get into it and trying to find that balance, you know. I say find that balance early, you know, as soon as possible. Try to find your purpose, you know. That's what I was talking to the cats about yesterday, just finding your purpose. Once you find your purpose in it and you understanding your why, it's easy to maneuver, you know, because you're not maneuvering just without, you know, craziness or silliness or playfulness or whatever, you know. So
yeah. So you had a balance that you're saying, like when you went for the 9 months to school for licensing school, you had to balance that out because you were doing some other things that weren't professional, and or it was getting in the way of your
pretty much so
your career path.
Pretty much so. So you know what I mean, just kind of, you know, navigating through life. You kind of hit some roads, some roadblocks and whatever, trying to hold you back a little bit, and then you know you just trying to find a way to get around it. Right. And once you get around it, it's, you know.
What's one of the, in those early years, what's one of the most something that was real discouraging for you that maybe had you wanting to tap out at times? You know,
a couple of times, you know, being a new barber, oh, that's tough. You know what I mean? New guy in the shop, everybody's looking, oh, can he cut? Is he good? I don't know, you know, and all that. So, you know what I mean? And just sitting there and you hear the whispers and you kind of get discouraged a little bit. So, you know what I mean? You cut ahead and the next thing you know, be like, it's okay. You know, that's
Man.
That's hurtful at times, you know what I mean? But, you know, just trying to find your way, you know, trying to find your niche into this professional world, you know.
So Matt had to go through that?
Man, it was
Matt?
What? Man, for years.
Really?
For years. Yeah. And I slowly growing, you know. Just over time, you know, I just wasn't just clientele falling in my lap. You know, I had to cut a head, cut another head, word of mouth, you know, kind of travel a little bit, you know. And I was okay, you know. I was okay. But, you know, at times, some days I didn't cut a head at all.
Really?
Know? Yeah. When first starting out, my first day on the job, man, August the 28th of 96, I didn't cut no heads.
No heads?
No heads. The next day, I cut one head.
Oh.
Oh, man, I was like, what am I doing? I thought they was going to line up. You
Really?
know? Yeah. And then that Saturday, I said, oh, I can do this. So I cut quite a few heads that Saturday, you know.
Yeah.
And then slowly, you know what I mean, starting to build up. So it took a little time.
Man,
it wasn't right after the gate, though. Mm-hmm.
So what was your motivation to keep you going? Because, you know, you said you're a little bit discouraging and everything. So I know there had to be something that, you know, was out there that kept you driven, you know, because I know you're a purpose-driven man.
Yeah,
I know
most
that.
definitely.
And so what was that purpose that kept you driven?
At that time, I just wanted to show the co, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
that I was pretty good, you know, the naysayers,
Yeah.
the doubters, you know, I just wanted to put it in their face that, boy, Matt can cut, boy, you know, pretty good with them clippers. You know, I didn't talk too much, you know, I was in the corner, didn't say too much at all, you know what I mean, just head down, focus, cutting hair, you know, so I just wanted to prove people wrong.
Staying in your lane, man.
Staying in the lane, yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way to do it, man. I mean, you keep your head down and just grind.
Mm-hmm. And see, you know, I mean, we didn't have no distractions then at that time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't no social media. It wasn't nobody, you know, to really, you know, mislead you too much, you know. You just had to be you. You had to find you, you know what I mean? So I think I did, you know. It took me a little time because I was around older guys, so I was kind of, you know what I mean, trying to walk in their steps. And then, you know, I finally found my way, you know.
Man, so you had like some maybe whether intentional or unintentional, like mentors or coaches, just by surrounding yourself with people that have been in this stuff for a while, some veterans.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You know, so how many heads within your first, you know, because for those who don't understand, you know, we got to give them some perspective, bro. You know, I don't know how you don't know who Matt Harvey is if you're in Waco, right?
Right.
Now, I understand if you're not in Waco, but if you're in Waco, man, Matt,
Got it.
he's the guy. I'm just telling you, that's my humble opinion. He's the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a legend, man. He's a living legend right here. So, Matt, you know, because I've heard stories from, you know, all the cats that come up under you, bro. And there's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And people have been inspired by you, right? By not giving up, by not quitting, right? You blessed a lot of people even to this day. Right. We're not even talking about the people that are getting their haircut. We're going to get to that in a second. But we're talking about just folks that have those same aspirations to want to make it, that have been in your shoes, but maybe didn't have all those coaches, but they had you, right? And you moving forward has helped others to move forward. So let's tap into this. You, in your first year, how many heads would you say you would cut on average? Ooh. Say within a week.
That's tough, you know, because I never kept up with it, you know. Because it was just like a blur, you know, just always just cutting necks. You know what I mean? I got your necks. I get your necks. You know what I mean?
If you had to guesstimate,
ooh,
nobody's going to hold you to it.
That's tough, man. I couldn't even guess it right
6
now.
months?
Ooh, I couldn't even guess it.
All right, the first 2 years.
Ooh, tough.
Well, look here. I can give you a little bit of perspective.
Okay.
Because from just hanging around the barbershop on a Saturday, because I just hang around, all right?
Are we talking about right now or are we talking about back then?
No, back then.
Okay.
Yeah, back then. So hanging around on a Saturday, you know, because I'm sitting here because I like numbers. And so I'm sitting here, I'm watching how many people go into that chair per hour. You know
Wait, hold up. Chief, you trying to tell me that you have the data on this?
Man, I'm
Give
looking.
me the data.
Look
Man,
here.
hold on.
I'm sitting here and I'm looking. I got my hand in his pocket. He don't even know it. Because I'm looking at, I could probably do this. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm thinking. You know, and I'm watching. I'm looking. All right, he done cut about 3 heads an hour.
Bro.
You know, so he looked at that.
Hold
he
on,
made
let's
about
stop.
$45 an hour.
You said
know?
3 heads in 1 hour.
And no mistakes.
And we talking about back then.
then.
In the day. I'm talking about he got like all these clippers are just out right here. And he doing grab these and doing this, grab these, doing this. And I'm talking about just own it. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, he doing about 3 heads an hour. That's probably about $45 an hour right there. Man, he making a lick. You know, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So
then
$45 an hour. So what are you trying to say? How much was a haircut back then?
You know,
For those of us that need a calculator for that.
about $15 a head.
$15 a head.
Yeah. Cheap.
I remember when it was cheaper than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was
But-
cheaper
but-
than
but
that.
go ahead.
Came a long way.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm watching. You know, I'm watching. And, you know, I got my boy that he's starting to calculate it too. Dad.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, you know what? I ought to get some clippers. And so we laughing about it, you know, and everything, because I'm watching that. And these cats didn't work no 4-hour day,
No,
no
man.
8-hour day,
None of that.
no 12-hour day.
No, sir.
You know, them jokers out there 16 to 20 hours.
Talk that.
You know, out there
Real.
16 to 20 hours.
Without
Sun up,
flinching.
sun down.
Yes, yes. I mean, you know, everybody looking tight in Waco. Everybody looking good. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm talking about,
Everybody.
but listen to me now, because we just talking about haircuts. All right?
Yeah.
We ain't saying nothing about shaves. All right? So we shaving too.
Yeah.
I mean, when you come out there, you
All
right.
that.
You right. You know, I'll see you next week. All right, I'll be back next
Yeah.
week. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Man.
yeah, you walk in, you walk in looking a little rough, looking like a werewolf, but when you come out, you looking like a prince. I'm telling you.
No, that's real stuff. Yeah, you come out feeling brand new, feeling yourself.
Feeling good. I mean, just that even, you know, just you coming in there, you feeling all down. You get conversation going in there, and you getting some good knowledge.
There you
Now,
go.
don't get me wrong. Now, there's some in
Some
there that
foolery
would,
in there. Yeah, some foolery around. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
you know, we all laughing about it,
Yeah.
but you get some good knowledge.
True.
You know, you're around men. You know, men.
Yeah.
And these men are teaching these boys to be men. So you're learning some lessons. You may not even realize it, but you're learning life lessons just listening to the men talk.
True.
You know, and they're lacing you up on that game. I mean, they're lacing you up. And then not only that, you get to walk out, fresh cut, feeling good about yourself. You done learned something today. You're feeling good about yourself. You ready. Can't wait to get back to the barbershop next week. You know?
coming back.
Can't wait.
And they come back. Matt, I remember in the 90s when, you know, I had got out the penitentiary and my little brother was wanting to get a haircut. I remember taking my little brother, you know, he wanted to get, I had me a brand new Impala back then. And what was it, in year 99, came out in 2000. But anyway, I'd go pick him up, bro, and I'd take him over there and it'd be like, man, I ain't even lying, bro. It'd be like 8 in the morning, 7:30. And I'm like, what are you doing? He says, oh, I need to go get a haircut. With who? Who does that? He said, Matt.
Yeah.
Matt Harvey.
Lined up.
I'm like, we go over there, man. I think, let me see, because there's several of them, but the one off 25th.
Yeah.
25th?
No.
Was it Sanger?
25th and Sanger, and then
Yeah.
we was 25th and Maple.
Yes. Man, I'd go over there. You know, the one was on Maple. Was that the first one?
No, that was the second one.
That's the second one. But the first one, man, either way, we go over there, and I said, what time you want to pick you up? Oh, bro, you know, it's going to be like around 2:30 or 3. Bro, what? He would sit out there all morning. You hear what I'm no lunch.
Yeah.
All morning so he can get a haircut. He'd be done by like 2:30. I remember when you were over, we had to go and sign on the wall.
Yeah.
You go sign the wall. Bro, you talking about pages. You talking about, where you at? Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm way in the back.
Yeah.
You got all these pages before you. There wasn't no app. There wasn't none of that stuff.
Yeah.
And but man, I tell you what, it was one of the dopest experiences because growing up, I'm 48 years old. I know I'm not the oldest or nothing like that. Who's the oldest? We ain't gonna say nothing.
I don't know.
But
I
look,
know I ran out of 40. So I can tell you that much.
but man, I remember though, we didn't have that type of experience all the time, but when we did, going to Matt, man, it felt good because, I'd go to you, Matt, way back then. And I remember, man, it was a really neat environment because of where I had come from, right? And it was like the culture. It was the people I felt comfortable around. Right. And somehow, because, for us and where we come from, there's a lot of toughness around there.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I'm just trying to tell you, back then, it was some tough people up in that mug, bro. But this man right here somehow has always kept it kosher. He always kept it professional. And somehow, I know it's never a dull moment, but no matter what, consistently now, this man has been able to keep the peace in his establishment. And I'm trying to tell you, man, the who's of who's would be up in there getting their haircuts. And it wasn't an appointment to do nothing else but to get your haircut. Yeah. It could have been an appointment. It could have been some things that people could have planned to do. Yeah. It just never, in my experience, I'm just saying, there may be some things that came in here and there. I'm talking about consistently. Yeah. And what you're known for and the legacy that you have, man, it's been all about that business, man, getting your haircut. And those of us that wanted them haircuts and come out looking fresh and looking clean, that's where we would go, man. Back then it was called the Fifth. Yeah. Ooh, if you know what we're talking about, man, you got to comment. You can't leave that stuff empty. Right? Yeah. You got to give your 2 cents a dollar on this now. Speak on it. And also, man, give some big ups to this legend, man, because he's a living legend. He's a blessing in our community. And that's why he's here. Like I said earlier, this man brings hope to our city through the barbershop world, And so as a result, man, I'll be over there with Locke. Shout out to Locke, man. We'd be over there. Me and his oldest brothers, we'd be hanging out. He'd be cutting hair, in his in his room back in the back. But I go and talk to him, man. I'm real proud of him, man.
Most definitely.
And I remember when he was able to, bro. When he made it to, it was Look At Me Now then, right? When he made it up in there, I was proud, like, bro, I would tell Ray, man, that's your bro. He done made it, bro. You over there with Matt, bro. Yeah. And he'd be in there cutting hair, and he's been able to get his own business going, and came through you, man, up under your umbrella, man. He'll say it, you know. Most definitely. And I'll go get my hair cut over there at times, and chop it up with him. And I remember having a conversation with him, and I said, hey, bro, I said, we're talking about you, Matt, and he's smiling. I'm like, bro. I said, talk to me, man. I said, you've been around, you know a lot of barbers and stuff. I said, tell me about when you were sitting over there with Matt. How many heads he be cutting? Oh man, he started nodding his head. Yeah. And I said, and I forgot the math, Locke, but we'll talk. But he would give me the numbers, right? And they were like impressive numbers for him. He's how much I would cut. Bring you into it, he's like, nah, bro. He goes, he ain't even human. He said, we would try to. He said, at least I would try to. He would tell me. He says, but man, he goes, that guy, he said, he'll be there before I get there. He said, he'll be there by the time I leave. He said, man, he opened and he closed that deal. And so, him being young and even, all the work he would do, he still talks about how he couldn't hold a candle to what you be doing, man. So
it was tough, man. Just trying to do numbers, just fell in love with it, I didn't look at the time at that time, of, I got to go do this, or I got to do that. When I really dedicated myself and threw myself into it, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't, shy away from the heads. Oh, I got you, bro. You want another one? Oh, I'll get you two. Bring your cousin too, no problem, So, man, we were just cutting like crazy over there, at the beginning, I had to slow up for, got a little older. Of course. So I don't get as many heads in the hour like I used to. But, man, back in the day, sheesh.
That's under your belt, bro. I mean, hey, go ahead.
The first Thanksgiving over there, got there at like 8 in the morning. It was packed. Still had the sign-in list. People signing in crazy. People calling. Locke come in, David come in, Demo came in, and we were just cutting heads, just going at it, drinking Monsters and Amps and all kind of energy drinks. You know what I mean? Trying to stay up for it, man. Before I knew it, it was 3 a.m. Wow. And I still had, I don't know how many more heads I had left, but I worked from 8 o'clock from that Wednesday morning. I got off at 7 o'clock Thursday morning.
Wow. What?
23 hours. I said, I'd never do that again. But we were just in there, you know what I mean? Just listening to music, cutting heads, talking, just going for what we knew, you know? But yeah, I won't never do that again, though. It was fun, but I was hurt.
Man, I bet, bro.
I was hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you used to, at the time before it really branched out, you know, and there was a lot of people out there like there is now, you know, but back then, man, you know, there was, you know, I think, you know, by the time you did look at me now, you opened that up. You know, there was others, obviously, but I'm just saying, man, you cut a lot of people's hair. Yeah. Man, from the south side to the north side, everywhere, Matt. If not, then especially when you did look at me now, man, there were somebody up in there cutting. True. Yeah. So you know, you would see everybody from the whole city, man, and you know, it's always been love.
Yeah, always.
You know, from the city and stuff.
And that's something I really admire. Because I know from the first time I met you, you know, through my whole police career, you never changed. The same person. You know, you may not even realize how much you were bridging the gap then with the community and with law enforcement. You know, a lot of police officers come in there and get a haircut. Yeah. You know, a lot of police officers. Yeah. So even then was bridging the gap. You were creating a huge milestone and didn't even realize it at that point. You know, but now as we are older and we're able to reflect, we look back, man, the barbershop was a sacred place. Yeah. Because it didn't matter if you were a knucklehead, if you were the police. When you came to the barbershop, that was neutral ground. Yeah. It was neutral. You know what I mean? Nobody's messing with nobody. That's neutral ground. Everybody had conversation, that laughed and giggled. You know, it could have even been, hey, you remember that night when I ran from you? You tried to jump that fence, you couldn't get over, you tore your pants, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know, funny stuff like that. Yeah, I remember that, but I caught you. Yeah. You know, although my booty was hanging out, I still caught you. You know, oh, yeah, I let you catch me. You know, just laughing. You know, nobody took anything personal. True. Yeah. You know, everybody laughed about it, and you know, it was just that fellowship of you know that place, you know, of men being able to come together and be men.
That's right.
So tell me about that, man. How was that? Was there any pushback when you had law enforcement in there? You know, like,
well, you know, you don't get a little bit. You don't get a little bit. You know, those who really was really into it. Oh, y'all got them laws over there. I ain't coming. Let me know when they leave. Yeah. You know, that part. But I'll be like, bro, they cool. You come on in. Yeah. He ain't doing no tripping. Yeah. Oh, man, I don't do all that. Hey, man, either you gonna come in or I'm gonna catch you some other time. Yeah. Okay, I'll come on in. And next thing you know, conversation happens and no hard feelings nowhere. Yeah. You know. So.
Man, that's dope, man. Bringing the city together in a sacred place, as you're saying, right? Through the barbershop, man. That's powerful, bro. You know, so you know, even with that, you have influence, you know, as a barber, you know, and the type of influence you've been able to have, man, it's crazy, man. It doesn't happen as often. I'm not saying there's not others out there. True. I'm just saying it doesn't happen as often, unfortunately, right? But you have had this platform through the barbershop to bring people that don't come together normally to come together. Exactly. Even people that are at odds, not just in law enforcement, but normally they'd be doing something with each other over there in the chair getting their haircut, man. Yeah. And keeping it. They respect you so much, right? And we're talking about all the way across the board. They respect you so much that they're going to keep whatever they got going on.
Keep it away from there.
Away from there, right?
Leave it in the car. Don't bring it in.
That's exactly right.
I heard it a couple of times. Several times. Man, you lucky you at Matt Barbershop, boy, and leave it alone. Yeah. You know, just leave it alone. I'm like, hey, man, I appreciate it.
That's right.
I appreciate it, but hey, you know.
It says a lot about your leadership, bro. Yeah. It really does, man. And, you know, you've always been a person of humility. You know, that's all I've ever, you know, seen. And I think our people, where we come from, our culture, they need that, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Even when they don't realize they do, they need that, and they have found it in a barber, bro. You know, and you're talking about Chief. You were talking earlier about kids, role models and stuff, but in all kind of ways, even as a brother, even somebody that's your own age, is like, man, you're like a bro that. Because I know, bro, I've seen you where people are coming there and they'll maybe say something loose, and you'll kind of try to bring it down and speak some sense into them, And I've seen them respect you, to where normally they're about that, this and that and the other, and they're being
On site type of stuff.
exactly, bro. So, how do you feel about that? Like
I
that
ain't
type
never
of
really thought about
influence
it.
that you have?
Never really thought about it. Never, thought like, okay, let me put my cape on, let me save the day. No, never thought nothing like that. You know what I mean? Just doing what's right. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna give you a cape. All right. And the reason why is because we're just speaking about you being a barber. Okay, that's all we're talking about. Okay, we ain't even talked anything about you reaching the youth, with athletics. We hadn't said anything about that. So I'm gonna give you a cape. Well, I mean, it is what it is. You get a cape from me.
I appreciate
all right?
it.
You get a cape.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a Superman to be able to get out there and do what you do. I mean, you're selfless. You're out helping others.
Yeah.
You don't have to be out there doing that, but you did because you wanted to, not because you had to. And and that's one of the things that I really admire about you. You know, is that how selfless you are. And you will do other things. And that's what's great. I mean, we know that a lot of our youth, we have a ton of athletes out there, and so we have to reach them and keep those kids active, doing something.
That's right.
And, and I'm happy that you recognize that and stepped up. Because there's a lot of folks out there, they ain't stepping up.
Yeah.
They know what we need to do. We got to keep the youth active, and that's what you did. You keep the youth active. And I really admire that. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, look at him out there. Okay, coach. And what I really liked about it is, seeing coach look sharp, look, team look good, look at them, and they feel good about themselves. We look good, we gonna play good.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
And that's what I'm seeing. I'm like, okay, all right, go ahead then. So that's really something that has really touched me about you. Is just your selflessness, man.
Yeah.
The way you just you give it all.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you doing that. You give it all.
Yeah, he's not just you're not just making people feel good, and you do by the haircut. Cause then it'd be super crispy, and you be looking clean, and I mean everybody talking, where you go? Yeah, I go to Matt. But that's one thing. But like what you're saying, but man, bro, you encourage and motivate people, whether it's through sports or just being there. It doesn't stop at just cutting somebody's hair.
Right.
You affirm the God-given dignity in people.
Yes.
Right. And that's again, for there can be folks that it's like they punch in and punch out. They cut the hair, maybe have some conversation here and there, but what you possess, man, is a gift to really be a blessing to the people. And, when I think about leaders, first of all, unfortunately, when people think about leaders in the city, they think about people with suits,
right?
Somebody that has a position out there in the city,
exactly.
Of authority and this and that. But when I think about leaders, I think about people like you, because what I think folks fail to understand that are disconnected is that you're connected, bro.
Yeah.
And you're connected with a group of folks in this city that are movers and shakers, right? And that's the type of influence that you have.
Right.
How many generations, to bring this into perspective, have you cut that you can think about now?
That's tough. I know one guy, used to cut him up way back like 96. Turned around, started cutting his son hair when he was born. Still cuts his hair today. Now I cut his son hair.
Man.
So, and I'm big unk, all the time. So
there you go.
Big bro and all that. It's just really a trip
It's
to
crazy.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
To
You
see
cut
that, how
their
that
hair,
transform. Yeah.
their kids' hair, their kids' hair,
Yeah.
and it keeps going.
Yeah.
Talking about 3-4 generations going down.
Right.
You know, that's amazing, bro. That's a big reach.
Yes, it is.
And that's what I mean by the influence. You're talking about generational influence.
Yeah.
That's something.
That is something, man.
That is really something.
That's a beautiful thing, man. We appreciate you, man, for
sure.
for the type of influence that you have. Could you speak to the teaching the class? You were talking about you were teaching the class. Tell us about that.
That was very different, you know what I mean? Because I'm not really a talker, you know what I mean? And a guy named Joe from New Images out of Belton, he was celebrating his 1-year anniversary yesterday. Asked me to come down and speak to a couple of students, a couple of barbers and all that. I was like, sure, no problem. You know what I mean? Then when I agreed to it, I was like, oh, what did you agree to, boy? You know you don't do that. You know you don't do that.
Had to step out the comfort zone.
I had to step out, you know, and it was the whole time I was just thinking to myself, what I'm gonna say to him? What I'm gonna, you know, how I'm gonna, you know, I'm tongue tied, I'm stuttering, my hands got to sweating. I was like, this before I even win, you know what I mean? So I was like, whoa, this don't be different. But then actually I just sat back and thought, I was just like, man, all you gotta do is just tell me a story.
Yep.
I said, okay, I can do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just speaking to them about, you know what I mean, how to carry themselves, you know, behind the chair. Not just being so, you know, don't get lost in it, you know, because from when I came in, it was more profession, you know what I mean? Then it turned into a hustle. Now it's the industry now, you know what I mean? And it's so many different lanes of it that you get caught up if you're trying to be like somebody else, you know? So really was just speaking to them about that, you know, just trying to find their own niche in the game, you know?
Man, that's some jewels right there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Man.
This game is changing all the time, you know what I mean? I'm calling the game, but it's the profession, it's the barber world, you know? And it's done came a long way, long way, you know what I mean? Even before I stepped in, you know, until now, you know? So.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, talking about that, I know I'll give a shout out to all the folks out in the east side. I said the south and north.
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge and you know, everybody from the east side. Shout out to everybody out there and, you know, the barbers and everything. Let's talk about that for a second. So I remember old Sport, you know, from back in the days in North Waco. You know, I'd go over there and get my hair cut at times. I lived around the corner. So shout out to Sport, you know, out there, man. Is he still doing this thing?
I'm not for sure.
Yeah. But he did it for a long time, man. And then who else that you remember you want to send a shout out to, man?
Shout out to my OG, Eric Snell.
Okay.
You know, that's who, you know, when I first got to the barber school, he was finishing up. So, you know what I mean? We was carpooling. You know what I mean? We was 5 deep in an Eagle Talon. Toodle. What? Say, man, I'm all the way in the back, little bitty self. You know what I mean? Scrunched up. You know what I mean? But that was the times, you know what I mean? But just watching him just cut, how he communicated with his clients, you know, just way he carried himself, it just, you know what I mean, inspired me. So, you know what I mean? That was one of my guys that I really just looked up to.
Man,
you know? So
that's all right. Yeah, shout out to him, man. And do you remember any other barbers that kind of came up?
Man, it was
whether it was
so many
after
of them,
you or
know what I mean?
whatever. But
me, Ralph, Chad, you know, that's the guys that was we was at TJ Ike's together.
Okay.
Man, we was all in the same car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We was all in the same car, man. That was different, you know. Shay, you know what I mean, Jimmy Boo, you know.
Man.
You know, Charlie, you know, he was finishing up as well. And then you got there's so many, man. It just the list go long.
Man, I know everybody's doing their own thing too, but who do you know that have been out since you've been out that are still here doing it?
Snell still doing his thing.
Snell still doing it.
Clarence and them still doing their thing. Gentlemen's Club, Gentlemen's Den. I'm sorry, Gentlemen's Den. You got your heads up with Scooter and them over there.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Mr. C was big, you know what I mean, when I first
I
started.
remember, yeah.
But he retired, you know what I mean? Now, let me see who else. Man, there's so many of them I can just name. Rodney Taylor, RT, Adele and Anderson, you know.
Yeah.
That's who, you know what I mean? That's where I was going to get my haircut at. You know,
Really?
when I was younger, you know. And then just watching them, how they used to move. way back then, kind of had me like wanting to really do it, so.
Yeah, man. My experience with barbers has always been it's been a blessing. I remember I had a guy, his name was J-Mo, that's what we call him, and he passed away now. But back
we were in Bell Mead.
that's right, in Bell Mead, man. This dude was good people, man.
Good people.
And I
Real
remember
good people.
we were in poverty, man. We were doing bad, man. And I was going to church trying to change my life, and I wasn't out there doing things no more, man. It was tough. And I remember, me and my son, I had my son, he needed haircuts, and we couldn't afford it. And I remember he would call me, he'd say, Brother Gable? That's how he'd say.
Yeah.
He said, come over here, man. And I was like, man, he said, how come I ain't see you? I said, nah, man, we ain't gonna be able to make it. He goes, man, I got you, man. You ain't Chris. Tell your son, come here, man. Shout out to my son, Chris. But and we'd go over there, man, and he'd hook us up. That's when I had hair, Matt. You remember when I'd go to, give me a bald fade with a 2 on top.
Yeah.
Ain't got nothing on top no more.
I'm the same way.
But yeah, man. So barbers are a big deal, man. If you're on here watching, man, share your experience with your barber or a barber, or if you know Matt, kind of give your shout out back, and let's share our experiences here in Waco. We're trying to bring hope to the city through this podcast, and this is a mutual place where we can come together, and especially like talking about barbershops, man. That's a beautiful thing. It's a part of our lives. It's a big deal to us. Without no barbers, man, we'd be ugly, and we wouldn't have the girls we have. And
See, me growing up, I went to the jockey club.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
To the jockey club. See, my daddy rode motorcycles all the time, and he was in the Road Runner Club. So I could just walk across the parking lot. Daddy be at the motorcycle club, and I could get a haircut.
Yeah.
So that gave him an excuse to be away from the house all day long.
Yeah.
Because I had to be at the barbershop all day long.
Yeah.
So, he got a chance, to hang out with his buddies and me get a haircut because it was just right across the parking lot. So,
Man.
Yeah. Dugas used to cut my hair. Yeah.
Dugas and Cicero. Cicero used to have them stories, boy.
Man.
Oh yeah.
Some was okay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can learn from that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, those old cats for something else, man. But I mean, that was one of the places.
Yeah.
It was so funny because, you look at over the years and they had that old wood paneling on the wall. And you can see in the chair where everybody, when we migrated, to the Jerry curl, everybody's head was still along the wall. Man, that was funny.
Like that?
Get out. Yes. It was funny, So I laugh at it because, I remember getting my hair cut, then I got my Jerry curl, that soul glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I carried the pick around, extra bottle of activator.
Like that, bro?
Yeah.
Had to keep it wet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Messing up everybody's couches, chairs, car seats.
Couldn't be dry.
No.
It could not be dry.
No, man. Man, you let that stuff get dry, your hair ball up like fish.
What?
For real?
Yes.
So you had to keep spraying it or what?
You had to keep it wet.
You got to keep it wet, man. Shoes, but collars of my shirt all messed
Everything.
up. Yeah.
Wow.
See, I had one from young to about, I think I finally ended up cutting my curl off maybe about 86.
That was me.
84? Oh, man, my Jerry curl was the bomb. It was so long, I used to wrap it behind my ears.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I thought I was
Man, don't you know?
Michael Jackson.
Man, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. So back when I was young, I remember the breakdancing days, right?
Yeah.
And
Part of it.
Yeah, it's part of it. And I remember for us, we'd have the DuckTales, right?
Yeah.
And so. We started getting them dyed in the back. You know what I mean? But that was a big thing, in the Hispanic culture, man. So everybody was getting the DuckTales, and I remember we go to the in the north side, there was Janie's Barber Barbershop.
Yeah.
You remember that little video
Yeah,
thing?
right there on 17th Street.
Yeah, that's
she come with Jerry curl off.
For real?
Yeah. Right next door to the Sports Shack.
Yeah, bro, right there.
All right.
Man, my mom, I was telling my mom, I want this, I want that. I don't even know where to go. She goes, oh, I know where to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you to my friend Janie.
Janie
And I'd
got
go
right
over
to
there,
it.
and they'd be talking, and man, and I'd come out. I'd be nervous at first when I first would go. I'm like, man, I don't know if she's going to, man, I'd come out there. And then I'd see everybody else come out. I'm like, ooh, this is
Yeah.
a place. This is
Yeah.
a spot.
Oh yeah.
And so every time I needed to dye it again, she would dye it, and then, man, that was. And then I remember, so I'd have my hair feathered back. So then I wouldn't go to a barber. I'd go to. I was in South Waco, man. So I'd go over there to Hair Designs. I don't know if you remember Hair Designs, bro. I'd go over there, bro, and they do this. What do you call it? That thing, air blower. What do you call that?
The hair blower.
Hair blower, bro. And they put this stuff and they wash your head. They put your head in the sink. You used to feel good, bro. I'll be up there. They hook it up and then they spray it and then tell me what to get. And they had products there. And I said, man, I had my hair all feathered back and looking all cool. That's back when I had hair.
That's the 80s right there.
But yeah, exactly. That's exactly when it was, bro. Back when what we have VHS started coming out.
That, yeah.
Remember, you could rent them VHSs,
Oh yeah.
bro, from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Bro, we couldn't afford no. We couldn't afford to own one, but we to own one, but we would rent them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You go rent the movies over there. You know what I'm talking about? If they had the case, you'd get it.
Yeah.
Man, that's back in the days, bro.
Old flicks.
Don't
And,
you
but,
know?
yeah.
Flicks, bro.
Yeah.
Man,
We up here telling our age now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, y'all remember
Everybody
quarters?
talking about what?
Y'all remember quarters, bro?
Yep.
But that was a place to be on Friday night.
Bro,
Man,
talk
don't
about
you
it, bro.
know.
Man, I get dropped off over there from my mom. I be hitting, bro. I be having fun over there.
Man.
There be these old school cats in there, man, that go hard on playing.
Yeah.
We be just sitting around. It was like
watching.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Twitch, everybody get, but there, you all around the game
Yeah.
arcade, that guy killing it while
Yeah.
you playing. I be like,
Oh, yeah.
man,
Oh yeah.
man, that's back in the days,
Yeah.
bro. You know,
Fun times.
Fun times,
Fun
man.
times. Before social media.
Yeah.
Before
That's where you had to be at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And everybody knew.
Yeah.
And you know what I don't understand? You know, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have none of that stuff.
Nah, bro.
None of the modern technologies. I never made it home late. I was always where I was supposed to be when I was supposed to be.
That's right.
Because you don't know when they're going to show up.
Yeah.
So mom and daddy might show up anytime. You better be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Never, my kids, I'm going to be a little bit late. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. So me, because you know I'm a cool daddy. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I'm a cool cat.
Yeah.
I let you be late. I'm writing it down. I got a ledger right here. You're late all these times. So next week roll around, you think you're getting ready to go out. Oh, you can't. You got to be home by 7:30. But it's 7 now. It takes me 15 minutes to drive back to town. Well, all the times you were late, you know, we're taking time off. So every time you're late, we're taking that time off. So you finally got to where you can't go nowhere. Why?
Yeah.
Because here's all your time that I added up that you were late. So now you got to stay at home tonight. Man, that ain't right. May not be for you, but it's right for me.
There
you
you
know
go.
what I mean?
Whoa.
But yeah, you know, little things, and that's something, you know, learning from my daddy.
Yeah.
You know, he did it to me. I'm gonna try it with my kids, see if it works. You know, I'm gonna see if it works. Oh, it works.
Yeah.
You know.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know, talk about, you know, Chief Williams brought up the athletics and the young people and all that. Man, tell us about, you know, your heart towards the young people, man. You know, like then and then even now. And how do you feel about where we are right now in the city?
I just think that, you know, one of those deals, like the gap is so far apart, you know what I mean? And there is no one size fit all for the youth. You know what I mean? You can't put this one in the box as you put this one in the box. You know what I mean? There's so many different types of young guys. You know what I mean? So at you know, the older guys our age, or you know what I mean, they're elders, always want to put them in a box, and that's where the misunderstanding is at. You know, we think all of them listen to Young Boy. We think all of them, you know what I mean, wear hoodies in the summertime. We always thinking, you know, something like along that range. But I just try to understand one individual to the next individual. I don't compare them together, you know what I mean? Even if they stay next door to each other, they grew up together, they still so different. So, you know what I mean? I just try to understand them, you know, not try to judge them too much.
That's
you
right.
know? So, but, you know, because we was young at times, you know,
Absolutely.
and when we was younger, you know, listen to NWA and you know what I mean, Too Short and all that. And our parents used to say, "What are you listening to? You better turn that down, turn that off." You know what I mean? And we was like,
2 Live Crew.
"What?
Yeah.
We want to rebel." You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
that's where the youth is at right now. You know what I mean? I don't think it's about rebellion. I think it's more of, I'm gonna show you. You know, I'm gonna just do it. You know, it's just different now. You know what I mean? Just trying to understand that part. So.
Yeah, no, you know, I think that's where it's at too, when we can, you know, come together, whether it's through athletics or your sphere of influence that you have, but where we can bring hope to our city through the young people.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, you're talking about the disconnect. That's why it's important for us to stay connected.
Yeah.
I mean, that's real stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like if you're not careful, you'll contribute to the disconnection.
Right.
Yeah.
By not trying to understand.
Mm-hmm.
You may not understand, but get you some understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some biblical stuff, man.
Got to find common ground somewhere.
Yeah. And now you're getting, the Bible says, get you some understanding.
Yeah.
And I think that that kind of helps and provides a way, a pathway to be a peacemaker with others.
Right.
It's like, man, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to just understand you.
Yeah.
And sometimes that don't work out, but when it does work, it's when you're trying to understand each other.
Yeah.
Right? And that's when it becomes a beautiful thing, you know. And that happens through respect. That happens through time and investment.
That's it.
Right? Because, you know, I've been in your shop lately, you know, shout out to my little cuz D-Lo, you know, be over there cutting hair, man. But, you know, I'll go over there and mess around a little bit when I can. And, man, I still see a consistency with the young people today.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it from my little brother, you know, all the way down to right now.
Yeah.
I sit there and look and just observe, and I see the youngest people up in there, they still got this respect, bro, for you. Yeah. It's a consistent, you're a constant factor out here, bro.
Right on.
You know, and that's something to make a big deal about. I believe that what is celebrated is repeated. And so I want to celebrate, you know, what you got going on, because it's a big deal, bro. I want this to be repeated. You know, where the next, I'm not saying they're out there, but wherever you are, man, keep it going. Yeah. The next Matt Harveys, right? Those that are out there, maybe you're listening to this and you're inspired through what this man is saying, what he's been through, what he's gone through, but what he's accomplished even to this point. Like, he's still out here in it, and he's still a constant factor in our city. Bro, you've cut hair of folks that have passed away, right? And I mean, unfortunately, at times when they passed away in some violent ways at times, right? You are, you know, I would hear back then that, oh yeah, so-and-so, you know, he gonna get his hair cut at, you know, Matt finna come in, and I'd be like, when I first would hear that, I'm like, man, this dude is something else. Man, he coming in here being a blessing in the most craziest time.
Yes.
And he's still bringing hope even in that moment. And I don't know the insides of all that, but are some of those people that you would even cut? Like, you know, like if they ask you to come and cut their hair, like, and they pass away, and their family would tell you to come and cut their hair? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No problem, you know. Never batted an eye, you know what I mean? Because I felt like if you took the time to ask, you know what I mean, the least I could do is do it for you, you know? So,
Man, that's what's up.
yeah.
How has your experience been with having to do that, especially when you first started off?
Never bothered me, you know?
Really?
Never bothered me, you know? Because, you know, when you're doing something like that, you're only cutting half of the head anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The viewing side of it.
Right.
You know, never had a spooky moment of it or nothing like that. But, you know, I just felt like that's what the family needed and that's what the family wanted. So, you know.
Man. Even to the death, bro. Bro, that's some deep stuff, bro.
Yeah.
You talking about you cut a grown man's haircut, make him feel good about who he is. Then you do that for his kids and his kids' kids. Not only that, but when that man closes his eyes and his spirit man leaves him and his body turns cold, when his family come and see him, you're there making sure he still look good.
That's what's up.
Nah, bro, hold on. Man, bro, that's a big deal, bro.
That's why I say you get a cape, man.
Nah, man, for real,
man.
for real.
Get a cape.
Bro, it takes a special somebody to really be able to just do that, do it well, but do it because your purpose, bro. It's clearly your purpose, bro. Can't just anybody do that, bro.
Right.
I mean, bro, I know folks that are cut hair and they got attitude.
Yeah.
I know folks that cut hair and they stop at this.
Yeah.
They stop at that. You a special somebody, bro.
Yeah,
I know I
appreciate
keep
it.
saying, but look, man, we got to give you your flowers while you still here.
That's right.
Right? You a big deal in our city, man. Thank you for all that you've done, all that you're doing, and yet are still inspiring to do. Aspiring, but inspiring to do.
There you go.
You know? Because that's a big deal because you can only people can only go as far as you can take them.
Right.
True.
And here you are, bro. You say yes to being a blessing to people. You're not just out here saying yes to money. You would have quit a long time ago.
Almost definitely.
You know, because some people get it twisted. Those of y'all who watching, you think it's just all about the money. This cat, right? We're talking about character. We ain't talking about all the money he be making or trying or chasing. We ain't talking about none of that. We talking about character. This is something solid, right? Because I know some cats I've heard them talk like, man, bro, Matt be making that paper, bro. He like you, do the man. They be all in your pockets.
I'm in his pocket. Ooh, I'll do that.
Hey, I'll also tell you though, just out of that respect, Matt ain't never been one to play with. I'm just going. He calm, cool, collected. He got this old spirit about him.
Right.
You know, I say that respectfully. Like he just always been that way.
Yeah.
But I've also noticed with some of the toughest folks being up in that mug getting their haircuts, bro, you always carried yourself with poise and all that, but at the same time, someone does not to be played with.
Right.
That's a special type of somebody.
It was probably the silhouette of what was in his pocket.
I was trying not to go there, but hey,
Well, you know,
especially in the early days, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In the early days, we're talking about, humble beginnings.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah.
And unless there was it would be something off a Master P video.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you've progressed and, your professionalism is on a whole nother level now.
Exactly.
But what'd you say in those early days? Dude, you knew better
rough.
not to go up in there.
Yeah.
I would go in there, bro, and sign in, and I'd leave. I'd be like, bro, you got it, bro. You have to be ready for something over here. But you'd walk in, you see Matt cut there, just chilling, bro.
Yeah.
And he was ready. I always respected that because it set the tone to where people wouldn't confuse your meekness with weakness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just saying it, bro. I ain't never
yeah.
thought about it till right now, but nah, bro, you carried that type of presence.
Yeah.
Where respect was given
Yeah.
and people you earned the respect, but it was also demanded at the same time. This was your place of establishment.
Right
and you meant business when it came to, cutting people's hair and being a blessing. You've protected the dream.
Right.
Right? You've protected the calling on your life, I'm gonna call it,
Yep.
But the purpose that you have had on this earth up until this point, you have done well to protect it, man. And we applaud you and thank you for that.
For sure.
What have you had to do, man? Maybe not everybody knows about this, but you and your family. But what have you had to endure to protect this purpose?
Man, it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of time away from them. Trying to build something. Shout out to my wife because many times she was like,
Yes.
"You still cutting hair? And when are you coming home?" I'll be like, "Baby, I'm got 2 more. I'm trying to get 3 more. This and that." When my kids was younger, being patient with me. Many times I used to get the phone call, "Daddy, when you coming home, Daddy?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just trying to deal with that trying to find that balance. You know what I mean? So that's what it was real tough at the beginning. But now we got to understand it now. So
Got an understanding.
yeah,
So now you put your foot down. Now you at a
I got to
place.
cut it off.
You had a place and space where you do that. So let's talk about that. So back then you stayed up, sometimes 23 hours, and people would brag about that. So we've heard all that. So tell us about that transition where you had to start saying no. And what would you do then if you said no? Like what would happen?
Oh, it's tough, man. Over time, I had to get into self-care, you know what I mean? Because my body was about to break down, you know what I mean? Barbers kind of go through a burnout, you know what I mean? If you cut so much, you know what I mean? You're dealing with so many different types of people, you know what I mean? The conversation in and out, you know what I mean? Just telling the guys yesterday, like, I don't know how many, Tuesday? I don't know how many times we talk about the fight. Did you watch the fight? Did you watch, you know what I mean? It's wearing there.
Right.
It'll wear on you, you know what I mean? Over time, just constantly talking about the same thing, you know. Cutting, standing, you know, it's a burnout. So what I learned that I need time, you know what I mean? I need time for myself, I need time with my family, and then I need time to cut. So we're just trying to find that balance all the way around, you know. So
how has that made you a better you? Finding the balance.
When I took the time to get to know me, you know, because at times I was always there for others, but never had me time, you know.
Man.
The pedicures, the massages, you know, just to sit in the backyard, you know what I mean? My backyard I got a waterfall. Well, I had a waterfall until we got this old city dog now. Tore up everything. Yeah. But I had a nice little waterfall, you know what I mean? Plants everywhere, you know, just my oasis. Yeah. That's my getaway. I get out there, listen to some music and just sit and chill, you know what I mean? And that was my me time, you know? Yeah. So really got in tune of just hearing, you know what I mean, my inner self, you know? So, and that was real therapeutic for myself, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, man. Nah, man, that's good. And carving out time for your family.
Yeah.
You know, what you say, when you say yes to something, you say no to another, whether you realize it or not. So it sounds like you've been able to make a transition to where, you know, you take something off the plate if you're going to put something on it, or you'll just say no because you're going to continue to say yes over here. That's right. You know, even your time over here, you know, coming down to do this podcast, you know, he was thoughtful about it. He didn't just jump to and say, yeah. He was like, well, hold on. I'm doing this with my kids. I'm doing this. So how about let's do it this day? Yeah. And so I see that even now you modeling that. I think that's a great thing, and I applaud you there because I know that there's nothing like being able to wear the cape at home. Yeah. Right? And that's a big deal because when you can accomplish that right there, that's the main thing. Yeah. You keep home the main thing. Right. Oh man. Come on, say that again. Home life ain't right. Oh man, you forget about all that other stuff. Yeah. What? Yeah. All the way. All the way. That's right. So you've been able to manage your time better, but that comes through experience. That's right. How many years you been doing this, bro? 27 years. 27 years. So for those of you who just starting off, man, you better like and subscribe this month. We trying to bring some game, some jewels. Huh? He done been through a little bit of everything. Blood, sweat, and tears, man, through all of it. He's dropping some jewels right here. He might have to charge me for this one. Nah, man, but look, this is a form of us coming together to bring hope to the city, and hopefully you have been encouraged by this and maybe laughed a little bit and maybe got you stirred up and thinking about, you know, back in the days years ago and getting on here typing your experience, you know, and some stories. And, you know, we'll have Matt look at that, you know, on our YouTube page, on our channel. And so comment because I'm going to have him look at it. You know, I'm going to keep sharing when I see new stuff and all that. And because we all need it, man. Yeah. You know, if you feel the same way I feel about and Chief feels about Matt, then, man, chime in. Yeah. You know, have your kids. Hey, here's something fun. Take a picture of you and your maybe generations that have gone before of when they got a haircut and the picture looking all, you know, this and that for their birthdays, for the holidays. And, man, there's so much we could talk about, man. Because that's not even, we're talking about the holidays. Man. Like right now, it's back to school time, you know. Busy. So, yeah. Back to school. I got about 20 texts on my phone right now trying to get in this week. So, they ready already. What? Oh, yeah. They trying to line up. How far off do you get texts, like, for haircuts? Man,
couple of weeks out, you know.
Couple of weeks
the
out.
night before, the morning before, I wake up and I got a text at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, put me and my boy down. You know what I mean? Like, it's just random.
I got to be the first one.
Yeah, that part. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
So you're still off on your. You get your 2 days off still.
Yeah.
And so,
But you know, man, I still find my time, myself going in. You know what I mean, maybe cut one head or 2 heads or something like that. Just getting my week ready. You know.
And they got to pay for your time.
Well, you know, somewhat. You know,
Okay.
If I could have said no, you know what I mean.
right.
But you know, I said yes. So you know, it's not a big deal at times.
Okay.
But if you begging, hey,
Right.
Pay like you wait.
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. If
At
it's
that
much
point,
needed,
you got to think about, okay,
yeah,
what's important to
what's
me,
important,
you know?
Yeah.
what I got going on. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
for real.
If I got something going on and you talking about, hey, what is it worth to you?
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's right.
Yeah. But if I got something going on, whatever dollar amount it is,
Yeah, come on now.
care.
I can't do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that's a blessing, man. You know, and it's back to school time, so go to your local barbers. Go check out Look At Me Now. They definitely got folks in there that are very capable of making your kids
Getting right.
get right, make you look right,
Mm-hmm.
and all that, man. But you know, let's bring this to a close, man. But we're gonna have to have you back, bro.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I got some straight barber stuff I want to
For
talk
sure.
to you about.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, especially the new stuff that's going on. I want us to be able to talk about that, get your opinion and
Okay.
experience and advice about it.
There
And
you
so,
go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
did you have anything, Chief?
Man, I just want to say thank you.
I
You know,
appreciate it.
for what you're doing. I mean, it speaks volumes in the community. You know, I mean, and we have to think about it too. You're not just reaching our community here in Little Old Waco.
That's right.
I mean, you're reaching everywhere around us. You know, 'cause I know it's folks coming in. You know, not even just McLennan County, from other counties.
Yeah.
You know,
That's right.
It's folks coming. So I mean, you have really made an impact on a lot of people's lives in a positive way, and you know, and I am one of those people who are very grateful to know you. You know, so I just want to leave you with that. I'm very
I
grateful
appreciate
to
it.
know you,
Yeah.
man. You know, because it's you. You are one of those people who are helping us bridge this gap.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, Look At Me Now Barbershop, man. Where's it located, bro?
2401 West Waco Drive.
West Waco Drive. Listen, you've already heard this whole time. We've been here just bigging up the legacy this guy has left so far and is living today. Man, if you need your haircut, if you're from the Baylor area and you're new to the city, man, go get your haircut, man. He come a long way. He is professional as all get out, okay?
Yes.
And what he has is a professional environment. And he's a pillar in this city, man, when you think about barbershops. So if you're trying to get done right,
There you go.
Look At Me Now is where you need to be at, man. If he can't cut you, he got people in there to cut you, and they're going to do you right. Because he got people in there that's, you know, up under him or right beside him that take care of business, man. So God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate
the
it.
Hope for My City podcast, and
There you go.
we'll see y'all later.
There you go.